We are live. You can catch us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Rumble. And we'll be right back with you, Howlers.
House of a Bass. I'm Ronnie Adams.
And I'm Jacob Casas. And this episode is called DNR Recap. So okay, we're gonna get going a little bit with you girls. So they were here for the last episode. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and go ahead and just introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, my name's Savannah, and I work for a mechanical engineering company. And I'm single.
I'm Melanie, and I'm a makeup artist / model. Also, currently in school for real estate, so doing multiple things. Stay busy. So I'm single as well, and yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of more on you two to start off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get into the recap a little bit so the viewers can get to know you two a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll start with you. So you're single.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna dive into that a little bit. Okay, so what happened with that? Why are you single? How long you been single? Or why are you single?
4 months. I am single because of a social media, and we discussed this on on the last podcast that you guys had. So I'm just learning how to set my boundaries with people, and I have to be okay with agreeing with other people's boundaries, because social media plays a big part, and sometimes you may not agree with, the person and the things that they do, but I feel like as long as I could be respectful of their boundaries and say, hey, you want that, I don't want it, and I'm okay with you going and finding somebody else. I just cannot, I can't cut my boundaries for the sake of you. So I just, I was like, oh, I'm going to just step back.
So boundaries, like who's? I mean, we're gonna go off.
Yeah.
Is there somebody's certain fault it was why you're single? Is it his fault? Was it your fault?
I wouldn't say it's nobody's fault. It's just you do what you want. I feel at the end of the day, you can't control nobody.
But what do you mean boundaries? Like, did he step over boundaries? Did you step over boundaries?
Meaning, if I'm telling you, I don't like the fact that you talk to females because it makes me a certain way, and the females that you associate with are people that you have tried to take it there with, and you don't see it as nothing. You just see it as, oh no, they're my friends, and you try to blatantly kind of.
Okay, so it was his fault.
It was his
For
but
sure.
I won't blame him because it.
Blame him.
I won't blame.
That's what it is.
I can't blame him. He has his needs, and that's what he wants to do. Then that's fine. And I feel like I should be able to say, okay, that's what you want.
But you two were you were exclusive. You were girlfriend
Yeah.
and boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it's his fault. It is what it is. Like
I just-
Hell no. Hell no. We're not going to do that one.
No.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about a relationship now.
No.
And when you have a relationship, it takes two to tango, and
Yeah.
it takes two for anything, for the relationship to go bad.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if he was, on social media and looking at other girls, somewhere he wasn't happy.
Yeah. And that's.
You know what I mean? So somewhere in that
Yeah.
situation, he felt like, he wasn't getting what he
Oh,
needed
for
out
sure.
of the relationship also.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that, and I think that's where I was like, okay, I'm okay. Like you did what you had to do to make you happy. There's no fault to anybody, and I think that I handled that part.
Now, was he wrong? Yes.
He was
at
wrong.
the end of the day, he
but-
should have came to you
Yeah.
and talked to you
And
about,
said something.
like, this is where I'm unhappy.
Yeah, but it's okay because I feel like now I can't hold that. People are going to do what they want to do. If you're not able to communicate that, then okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna force nothing out because if I resort back to my old ways, I'm the type like, no, I want to know why. I want to know this. I want to know that. And then I'm bitching and nagging, and it's like, no, I don't want to be that. So let me step back and say, okay, if this is your views and how you want to go about things, that's fine. I respect it. But I also deserve the respect back of if I don't want to be with you because I can't agree with your things, I shouldn't be scolded and say, oh, well, you're fucked up. You're not a ride or die or this or that. No, we all have boundaries now, and it's fine. I accept that the fact that you did what you had to do to make you happy. Be happy. And I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart because everybody deserves to be happy.
Yeah, but if we're gonna get into specifics and what he was doing, like, if we're not gonna say, okay, it wasn't his fault, we can go that route, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he was still talking to chicks online, period. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. He was in the wrong on that part.
Yes, he was
Like,
wrong.
that don't mean nothing else. Like,
Right.
if we
Yeah.
find out our girl's talking to somebody online, I'm done with them, period, anyways. Like, it's already a
Yeah.
wrap, or I'll still do what I want to do with them, but I got no ties with them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
when you're online talking to somebody, it just is what it is.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You said that you felt like you couldn't address him because you felt like you would be nagging or bitching, and at the end of the day, it's about communication.
Yeah.
And if you felt that way, that he wasn't going to respond to that type of communication,
Yeah.
I would, I mean, personally,
Yeah.
myself, and I'm not a female, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I would rather communicate in nagging and bitching and complaining to get my
Yeah.
point across if that's what it's going to have to take.
Yeah,
You
but I
know.
had done that so much that I was just like, it's not working. I
You
feel
talking about in your past?
yeah,
or-
no, just in
this
and even the situation before, like it was a constant thing. Like I would see girls and I'm like, wait, oh, that's my best friend, and I'm like, but I didn't know that she was your best friend. Like, where did she come out of the word books from? And it's like, no, I've known her for years. Okay, I'm at a point in my life where it's like, I don't know, it's fine, it's okay. Like I'm really at a point where it's like, no, you do what you got to do to make you happy, and I'm gonna go make myself happy.
Now, did you learn that in the relationship or after the relationship?
I learned it outside because of the only thing I feel I was getting triggered so much, and I was always ready to resort back to the old me. I was ready to pop it off, like I'm knuckling up with you, like you're not gonna play with me. But I feel like now I'm just like, why fight? Why?
Was alcohol involved in your relationship? No alcohol, no drugs?
No. Mm-mm.
How long were you together?
About a year.
It's not even.
Yeah.
Okay, we can keep going. We can keep going back to that. We'll go with you now for a little bit. So, okay. So, how long you been single?
I've been single for a year. I guess
year.
if you consider, because the last relationship I was in was kind of off and on, and it obviously didn't last because we were just on two different pages. The timing was never right with us, so it was kind of like in the beginning. Like I would make efforts to spend time with that person, or I would invite this person, around my circle of friends, and there was always an excuse like as to why he couldn't. So then the next go around, he tried kind of making a little bit more efforts to get me to hang out with him and do things that he enjoyed, and so I was kind of testing the waters a little bit too to see if he was serious. It obviously didn't work out because he resorted back to his ways from before and not really putting in complete efforts to be in an exclusive relationship. So it was just wrong timing for both of us. We just were not on the same page.
And y'all was together how long?
Off and on for about 4 years.
And you said he wasn't ready for an exclusive relationship, and it's been 4 years. That's a
But it
long
was
damn
off and
time.
on. So there was like breaks where he would
But
go ghost.
Can I ask you
know?
something, though? Did you want it to be off and on?
No.
So that's the thing. He wanted it to be off and on.
Right.
That's his thing. So it wasn't wrong timing. Like, I don't really believe in wrong timing. It's just what one person wants over the other.
True.
A lot of the time. But wrong timing isn't really real. You know what I mean?
Well, I
on
feel
that.
like when I say timing, it's just in that moment of our stage and when we met and everything that happened. It didn't work out because, like you said, it's not what he wanted.
Yeah.
So in that time, yeah, we were just not on the same page.
And kind of like explain to us, okay, like the end. How did it end? Like completely end at the last part of it?
The
Just-
same way, he would just go ghost.
Oh, he would just go ghost on you.
No text messages. Hey, good morning. No, nothing.
And was you talking to someone else while he was ghosting, or would you just completely?
I completely stopped talking. I stopped dating for a good 6 months.
So it was just him for 4 years. You didn't talk to nobody. You didn't try to entertain nobody in 4 years.
No. Before I
You a
was
good
talking.
one then. Hey, all our viewers, she was a good one. She was solid.
That's 4
She
years.
was.
I mean, off and on. I have like my own things I got going on too, so it kind of kept me busy, so I didn't really look to anyone else. I was trying to, like I said, make this work, and it just wasn't working. So just let it go.
How old was he?
He's a few years older than me, so he was, I think when we met, he was 35, and yeah,
He's an older dude.
yeah.
That means a lot.
So let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think there's any, solid men out there? Because it
Yes.
seemed like, and you met some.
No, I feel like there is.
Okay, that's good.
I have faith. Yeah.
That's good. That's what's up. That's huge.
Yeah.
Because it always seemed to me that, when we talk to women, the first thing that they do is blame the man like it was their fault, and it's because of them cheating, stepping out, or something like that. And I'm not bashing the men, and I'm not bashing the women on how they feel concerning that situation. But I think men really need to step up and make our name great. You know what I mean? Because it seems like it's always, we looking for better, when we have, something in front of us. So,
What we were talking about earlier, so like the age difference though between like when we were growing up, the men had control. Like they were the ones doing all the cheating. Now this day and age, from Instagram and all that stuff, the girls are the ones doing all the cheating. But it doesn't sound like that's the kind of girls we got in here right now. I mean, the one that probably left, that's probably one of them.
and to be honest, I don't think that people understand what cheating really is. It does not always have to be physical, to be considered cheating. And women,
Yeah, you can-
women are attention seekers, and that's where their cheating first starts. And men, we hardcore, we go all the way when it comes to cheating. It ain't just we ain't just looking for attention. We looking for the real shit. I'm being honest.
Hey, I love it
That's
though.
real,
I
though.
know
That's
it's the
real,
truth. I
though.
love
I'm
it.
being honest. When men cheat, it ain't just, oh, I'm looking. It ain't just,
No.
I'm
Never.
going to just get in her and like her page. You know what I mean? We trying to do the damn thing. But most
Yeah.
women, they start off with just, the Instagram, look at me, and they come out with their body showings and things like that. And
They're strapping.
yeah, they're getting the attention right away. So they already know, like, if they're not getting that attention from their man, they know where to go get that attention from immediately. And I'm going to show a little skin on Instagram, just because my man ain't giving me no attention. So that's when the cheating begins, and because that's when the DMs begin. So
They'll get DM'd even if they ain't showing skin. So I mean, if you show skin, it's even going to be way worse.
way-
they got to show something, though, in order for a man to be, like, really, really aggressive. You know
yeah,
what I
that is
mean?
true.
They can get a DM from a man, hey, how you doing? What's up? But when it comes to, like, aggressiveness, like, you know what I mean? Once they show that skin, men get aggressive.
So let's go down to the recap. So we're gonna talk about the young lady. I believe her name was Monica, that left, kicked out, whatever you want to call it. So what do you think about how her reaction was in the show? I know, first of all, the whole thing was kind of chaotic. We know that.
Yeah.
We're not gonna say it wasn't
Yeah,
real.
it was good.
But what do you think about that situation? And we'll start with you.
I wish you would have stayed. I
Yeah.
really do. I feel like, do I wish she kind of understood it correctly and not taken it to heart? Yes, because I feel like she probably had something to say. Do I think that maybe she got maybe triggered along the way because of how just fast she got up and left? I'm pretty sure she got triggered off of something and was just like, I'm out. I really wish that she would have stayed, just to kind of see her side of it. And no one's wrong in this place. You're just trying to make somebody, I guess, answer the way that you're trying to see it, or trying to see their view and make it make sense. But I guess if it's not, then it's like it's not going. So tell me how you're seeing this, so I can see it the way that you are, because sometimes you may not see it the way that the other person does.
Well, one thing that caught my attention that I wanted to discuss was about what she said.
Yeah.
She was saying like being beautiful is a burden.
That was tough.
But
We didn't
but,
even address
but
that.
hold on, I was like really, but you're like half naked on Instagram and you're a model. Like that doesn't make any sense. if you're gonna say being beautiful is a burden, where you using it the way you want to use it. So how is it a burden if you're like completely putting yourself out there?
And making money off of it.
That
Yeah,
is-
you
that
can't
is
say
true.
that. I feel like that was just a
It's a
cop out.
contradiction. You mean
know,
a contradiction,
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
between
contradiction for
itself?
sure.
Yeah.
I didn't make sense, and I mean, kind of like, what do you think about that? You know?
I don't even know because there's no reason for me to say that because you're pretty, then you're pretty, but you don't have to make it hard on yourself. But I mean,
But do you think she was being honest when she said that,
No.
or she was just being
I
argumentative?
think that she was just speaking. I want to say that she's probably speaking for herself.
I
Because
just want
I-
to know. I'm sorry to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
I just want to know if y'all could give me one simple reason why beauty would be a burden.
I can't give you a reason why.
Like, why would that be a burden?
I guess, like you said, it just depends on how you use it. If you're using it, posting half naked pictures of yourself, you're going to get that kind of attention back. So it just depends on how you're using your pretty privilege, you know? So I guess, I don't know why it would be a burden.
I know. I don't see that. I don't know
See,
about
you
the
know what?
burden.
I'll be honest. I think she was arguing to argue. Like I don't think that was anything besides trying to throw something out there. Like a lot of
Maybe, yeah.
I notice a lot of I'm not gonna say every woman, but I'm saying a lot of women, they like to argue, and I've been around women like that where they just like, it doesn't matter what you say, they're going to find a way to argue with what you're saying. So if you're, oh, well, women are beautiful. Well, now beauty's a burden. Like, it's like, wait a minute here. Like, now you're going to
Yeah.
go with that. Anything you say, they're going to try to find something against that. But
Yeah.
yet she's contradicting everything she says, right?
I mean, the young lady that was sitting where you were sitting, when we did that podcast, she says, well, I don't see beauty as a burden because we get to go to the club, we get to go to the bar,
Right.
we get to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
anywhere,
Yeah.
and we're going to be treated a certain
Yeah.
way just because of our beauty.
Right.
For sure.
You know, and I think that's a known fact in reality and in this life we live. You know, some people who are beautiful get treated better
Yes.
than others, you know, that
I
are
agree
not
with
so. I mean, beauty is in the beauty is in the eyes of the beholder,
Right.
but still, like, if you bad, you bad. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, and
some
everyone-
people gonna lift you up
Yeah.
if you
Right.
that bad.
You might
know?
not be for one person, but you might be for the next. So it just
Yep.
depends. You know, everyone has their type and what they like and what they don't like. So, I mean, yeah.
And if you're beautiful in that in the eyes of that beholder, he gonna treat you
Right.
like you know,
That's true.
the queen. You know what I mean? So it's not a burden to me. So
But
Yeah.
I think, can I add to that? I think you really have to be beautiful on the inside and out. I don't think it's just base
Yeah.
value. I mean,
when you got alcohol in you, they don't even care.
Yeah, I know, but
Men not
that
even. but
is
I understand
true.
what
Beer
you're saying.
goggles.
because
but
that's
you're
the
right.
way,
But you're
because
right.
that's the way I see it. It's like, no, you can't be with a pretty face and be a shitty character. I've never understood that.
Yeah.
Never understood that. Why are you so pretty but so like looking at the next one like, ugh, well, no, time out. We've all had our sprouts and our growth sprouts where either one of us didn't look as great in the beginning and then all of a sudden you just came. Some people got the money to make over the body. Some people don't. You know, you can't really judge a book off its cover. I can't say that.
But that's for old.
Yeah.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No,
Go ahead, no.
That's for older and mature men.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
I
what
was
I
gonna
mean?
kinda
Or
do
just
that.
say mature men.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You ain't
Just
got
in
to be
general.
older.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just in general.
You're gonna look at them. You're not just gonna look at the shell of a woman.
Yeah.
You're gonna make sure that you understand her and see the beauty that's inside
Yeah.
of her. You know, and what she brings to the table other than ass, hips, and tits.
For sure.
So at the end of the day, and a pretty face.
Yeah.
So the maturity of a man really dictates what type of beauty he's really looking for.
It's true.
Well, at the same time, I feel like the women can use that. They can be ugly in the inside and out, but it's not gonna last though.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like they're fine with that, using that because they're young and they can just keep their options open, but they don't understand that we're older, like, right? So we understand what that turns into. Later on, like, you're the old girl at the bar that used to be hot, that's waiting for someone to try to take her home now because nobody wants you no more, and we see that all the time. They don't know that, and with this Instagram thing, there's gonna be a lot more older girls that used to be hot at the bar. They're all dressed in their best, waiting for someone to take them home, but they never get wifed up. It's just the way it is. And if they do get wifed up, they're gonna get, probably divorced because they be cheating, all that, whatever they do, because they're so used to arguing about nothing. like just being in a big circle about that stuff. And we we literally see this all day, like at the bar. You know what I mean? It's just the
It
normal
just-
girls
it-
at the
it-
bar.
And as women get older, they forget that, you know, and not just older, when they start getting in their 30s and 40s and 50 is getting up there, and no disrespect to anybody at the age of 50 or 60, but once you start getting up there, the beauty fades, you know, and a man is going to wonder, hey, what type of, you know, wife or woman can you be outside of, you know, getting drunk or, you know, partying or, you know, what do you have on the inside? You know, why should I, you know, take care of you, you know, and
Yeah, it's sad because like I'm not playing around. I literally see that all the time. So I've seen it for years. Like we'll go out and you can tell this girl used to be really beautiful when she was younger, and a lot of these girls are like, I don't care, I'm fine with being alone. No, they're not. I guarantee you they are not, because I see them. They are not. They're sad. They want somebody so bad, and they might get someone for the night, but that's all they're gonna get. You know what I mean? Because the dude might be like, hey, you're the only thing that's left. At the bar, so they take them home and that's it. But there's going to be so much more of these women now that they have no idea what they're getting themselves into.
because all they can, and why we're saying this and talking to our viewers, the reason why we're addressing this, because like we're saying, this, the beauty is on the inside also, you know, not just on the outside. The outside is going to fade, even with us men, you know, the outside is going to fade one day, and if you're not working on growth and, you know, being a better person, men and women, I'm just not going to speak to the women, if you're not working on the inside and being a better person and growing mentally, spiritually, you know, and working on yourself regularly, that's when you're going to have problems if you're single, you know, at that elderly age or older age, I would say.
I think when you get older too, like sometimes people get stuck in their ways. So it does take a lot of healing, a lot of growth within yourself before you can meet someone to match you and be that person for you, you know? But it's hard. I think I'm seeing for me, because I'm so comfortable being single, that I like my space. I like my freedom. I like being able to come and go. You know what I mean? Don't really have to answer to anyone. So it's like, I'm okay with that. But yes, of course, I eventually would hope to have a relationship, a long term, you know. But right now, it's more like my time, because I'm learning and I'm trying to grow within myself, mentally, spiritually, financially, all of that, you know. And I think it takes that to reach that level of maturity to find someone that can match your energy.
Yeah, and I want to answer that a little bit. I'm not saying to when I'm saying it, when I explain this, I'm not saying to go out there and try your hardest to find a man, but I see a lot of women that are comfortable being single, and they end up becoming miserable because they're so lonely at the end. And I don't think it's a good thing to stay comfortable like that. I would even say kind of for a man, I guess, but not really, because
Well, we're
a
not
man's
meant
different.
to be. We're not
Women
meant
aren't,
to
no.
be alone or
No.
by ourselves forever.
Well, I feel like women are
And
actually
that
really
damages a
meant.
woman mentally for sure. And the reason why, go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, I women especially, they're meant to be taken care of by a man. That's literally what they're there for. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? So if they're not being taken care of, like, you're gonna see what they kind of turn into. You know what I mean? Angry, bitter, or the girl at the bar. It's one or the other. You know what I
Damn,
mean?
That's real shit.
And that's sad because you see that. They're-
Angry, bitter, or the girl at the bar.
Yeah. Just looking for any type of love they can get
Yeah.
for that moment. And it happens all the time. I don't think these girls now, because this is Instagram's like a new thing, right? So the girl, that generation hasn't hit that age yet. And when it does, there's going to be a lot more of those girls at the bar.
Yeah.
It's just going to be crazy to me. I'm like, because you see those same type of girls that are thirst trapping all day, like literally like being with a bunch of men all the time. I mean, it really damages them like for a long term. They don't realize it because they're young, but it damages them so bad. I mean, they're so messed up. I talk to these women. I have friends like this.
Yeah.
And it damages them so bad. You can see it in their eyes. You're just like, whoa. I mean, I'm not going to put nobody on blast or anything, but I see it a lot.
No.
And if girls think that, oh, I'm going to be fine, you will not be fine. I promise you, you will not be fine. It's the way it is.
So
But they don't know that yet.
Yeah.
They don't
So I
know
got
it.
a whole lot of cat ladies.
Yeah. They love animals, whatever.
I hate cats. I'm not a
hate
cat
cats.
person at all.
Never will be a cat person.
Hopefully, you guys don't turn into one.
No, never.
That's
You
not
girls are
cool.
young though. You guys got.
Never.
Yeah, so she was going around in circles, you know, and then, you know, when she stated, let's go back to where, you know, a little bit about that.
Well, no man. I'm telling you right now, no man wants an argumentative woman. Like it's just so annoying. If you can argue with anything they say, I mean, constantly turn anything into an argument. It's just you don't even want no part of that. I'm not saying because a lot of girls are like, oh yeah, a lot of guys like toxic stuff. You know what? Maybe they like the bedroom toxic with you, and they're gonna stay with you for a certain amount of time, but they're not gonna stay with you long term. So if a lot of girls think like, oh no, men love that stuff, because I literally had girls tell me that so many times, especially like 27-year-old girls.
I've heard that
I was
before.
like dating, whatever. They're like, oh guys, I don't understand how you don't like that. Men love that. I'm like, yeah, they like probably that in the bedroom with you, but like no dude's gonna stay with you long term. It's just not gonna happen. But they don't know that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then later on,
They don't know that
find
they
out.
don't know the boundary of being argumentative, because there's a time and a place for it, you know. So like you said, he might like it in the bedroom when you're feisty and little, spicy, but in like an outing with friends, you know what I mean, to be argumentative, it's kind of like embarrassing.
That's
It's
the
like,
biggest
oh.
disrespect when you're out in public, period, and arguing.
Yeah.
Whether
Oh
you-
yeah, actually, I don't
That's a
tolerate
no-no.
that
That's
at
a
all.
no-no.
No.
Yeah.
You
Nah,
wait
it's
till you
not gonna
get
happen.
home into your comfort zone, into a place where you're not, everybody is not being embarrassed, because you can
Right.
embarrass her and you can embarrass him, and then his testosterone is going up because now his manhood has been tampered
Tested.
with and tested. So now he's going to probably go extra.
Well,
But I do believe.
no, I was just gonna say because that argumentative is not the argument I'm talking about. Her argumentative was completely on another level, where she's arguing just for the simple fact to argue.
Right.
Because those women are a whole nother breed, and that's like a whole different scale of arguing. Like if you can turn anything into an argument, like that's already a wrap for most dudes. Like
Yeah, I think you just have to find your way to communicate clearly instead of arguing. Because when you communicate your point clearly, then the other person can understand where you're coming from.
And should respect it.
And yeah, and then exactly, you respect that communication, because you sit back and you're like, okay, well, this is what she means by this. Okay, now I have to kind of process that and from my point of view and kind of communicate that back so we can understand each other. And so, but if you're arguing, you're not going to hear each other out, because you're right away building up a defense wall to just block it out because you don't want to deal with it, sometimes.
yeah,
And don't get us wrong, viewers. We do believe that women should have a voice. I do. There's a lot of men out there that don't believe that women should have a voice. They should shut up and just be submissive and just do as they're told. But I personally don't want no robot. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
heck no.
Don't give me no robot. I don't need that. I need somebody that's gonna help me grow also, and
Right.
help build my spirit and help build my mental also, and we can learn from each other. I'm just not a man that just want to be able to just control a woman, but let's do it all in peace,
Right.
and
Right.
understanding, and I believe that if we do understand what a voice means, is meaning you say what you have to say as a man, and then go from there,
well, yeah. I mean, you hear a lot of these other dating podcasts talk about being just submissive,
Right.
And yeah, of course, a man wants their woman to be submissive, but I don't want a stupid woman or a
Or a
woman that's
robot.
just like literally has rocks in their head. You know what I'm saying? I can't handle that. Everything just flies over them when you talk to them and you explain something to them, and nothing is catching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, like you do want a woman that has a voice.
And
know?
some sense and some
Yeah.
maturity, because at the end of the day, if I bring her around my friends and they're married or something like that, I want her to be able to have, some intellect, and not just sound like rocks, or don't know how to communicate or don't know how to hold a conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are robots, they just do as they told and shut up and be submissive. You have to know what being submissive really means,
And we can even get into more of this too. I mean, because we're business owners, right? So when we go to work, and I mean, business owners I mean, I'm not gonna say people that have 9 to 5s don't work hard, but I'm saying business owners, they deal with constant chaos. They live in chaos. So when you go home, you want to go home to peace. You don't want to live in chaos. You don't want to live
Definitely.
into arguments. You want to be able to hang up that armor when you get home and just like live in peace, because that's like that should be your place of peace. So I would say like men in general, I would say just in general, but even more so entrepreneurs, like when you go home, that's what you would want to come home to. So if you know that when you walk through that door and you're like, wait a minute, should I just drive to the bar instead for a little bit and say I'm still working?
Sit in the car for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah,
Or like,
if your man got to sit in the car before he come in the house,
Yeah,
he
there's
lives
something
in a
wrong.
toxic relationship.
that means that woman needs to change something, because that dude should not be sitting in the car or driving to the bar because he knows he needs to get some rest for a little bit, then go home. That's crazy right there.
And that's what men desire. Men desire a woman to be their peace.
Exactly. But I know you had something to ask too earlier.
So
about the
my
about the
question
girl.
was, so she made a statement about how much she makes. So my statement was this, or my question is this, okay? Why do
Oh my.
some women feel that it's okay to throw out what they make towards men? I mean, I don't know what's the point in that. I mean,
Maybe it could be a trauma of hers to where she's dealt with men that probably have asked her, oh, well, what do you bring to the table? You know what I mean? And so maybe that in her mind, she thinks that that's going to let people know, oh, no, I'm well established.
oh, okay. I was just.
Well, can I address
I don't
that
know.
Go
one?
ahead.
I'm gonna address that one. Men don't give a damn how
There
much
we
a
go.
woman makes.
I was gonna say the same thing.
And that's where people are confused. That's where women are confused. Men are naturally providers. Most men, and I'm talking about in general, men are providers. They want to provide. They don't want no woman that makes, most men don't want woman that makes more money than them, because then they got to work harder. And it is a testosterone thing. It is a ego thing, and it is
Right.
a prideful thing. But ain't no man just want a woman bragging about how much money she make. If she make her money, that's cool. And at the end of the day, if you make your money, that's not what we're asking you to bring to the table. This new generation, of course, some of this, oh, let's do 50-50 crap. But also, it's not majority of real mature men. A
Right.
mature man wants more than, hey, you bringing your half to the table. You know, like we was just talking about, we want peace. You know, we want a home.
Right, it's not
And
just finances.
No,
Yeah.
no, and that's not the biggest thing a woman can bring to the table, viewers.
Yeah.
The biggest thing a woman can bring to the table is peace, comfort. Make my house a home. You know what I mean? Make me come home to a woman that I appreciate. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna appreciate your money if I got my own damn money.
Right.
Only a sucker would be like, hey, you know what I mean? She got money and living off her. That ain't no mature man. That's a sucker
But that's
ass
the
man.
key. That's the key word right there. It's not a mature man.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah, but that becomes to picking though. So like if you guys are picking that's already your fault. You know what I mean? If you're picking a man that can't take care of you, like you already messing up. So you gotta like people have to take accountability for what they are, like just like a man does. You know what I mean? If we're broke, and nobody like wants to deal with us because we're broke, then we got to take accountability for that, right?
Yeah.
A woman has to take accountability for their pickings. If they're picking those kind of men, that is like 100% the woman's fault. Because you know what you get yourself into. If you think you're going to change a man, I'll tell you right now, it's not going to happen. The only one that can change a man is that man. That's it. He has to have like an eye opener or something, and you're not going to be it. Maybe if you leave him at some point, you will be. But if you guys are taking care of him the whole time, it's just like a baby taking away their sucker. They want to come right back to you. So it doesn't matter. Like you already picked him, he's wrong. It's like it doesn't really matter what you do after that. It's
Yeah.
pretty much a wrap.
If a woman come into a relationship making more money than me, I'm going harder. I'm not just about to be like, oh, that's okay, and the woman
Yeah.
going to work talking about, I make more money than him, I take care of him.
Oh no.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because she gonna feel superior over him, and it's not that, you know, we're supposed to be feeling superior over each other. It's just a man supposed to be a man and feel
Yeah.
established of a man. Like I take care of my household, I take care of my family. You know what I mean? That's her money. At the end of the day, that's not
Yeah,
Yeah.
we ain't touching that anyway. So what does that have to do with us?
Right. We ain't touching that.
Like that's her money. Like
Right.
that's how it is. You know what I mean? Like if she goes and gets some little extra stuff here and there, that's cool. But we know that that's not our money.
Right.
We're not even going in her account. We don't even have a card for her bank.
No.
But you know what I mean? Nothing. It's all our money that we know that's being paid for everything. You know.
Yeah.
So,
that,
yeah.
most men, most mature men, is not going to care about a woman's money. You know, because he gonna make sure that he holding it down for his family and his household and his children. Period.
And that's like not really a lot of men right now.
No.
I'm sure you guys are facing that because you guys are younger. So I mean, you guys are facing all these kids still, really.
I think with seeing how my parents were and how my dad was, it was like got up at a certain time, was 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, head to his job, come back at 5 o'clock, and still play with the kids and still, you know, still pay the bills, still do what he has to do. And I think that most men, I can't say that this generation probably has what these older men have instilled in them because we were all raised differently.
You're right. It's the society who taught it.
And it's the society who taught it, and I think, like we said, it all came from the house. So it was how you were raised. So if your parents raised you as like, you're okay, you're spoiled, you know, you're always,
Privileged.
that's all you're going to be. And if you don't know how to hit rock bottom and say, oh, I know how to make that money back 10 different fucking ways and be okay,
That's a boss.
that's
That's
where
the
it,
boss
that's
out of
where
a man.
that's where it becomes where it's like, okay, well then what can you do then if you lack in one spot? Okay, well where are you picking up on another? Like what are you doing to cover that other spot? Because there's no such thing as you can't do anything. Because there's not. It's just not. Can is not in the vocabulary. That's what I was raised. There's nothing that you can't do.
Yeah.
You can do everything. That's because you're willing to put yourself to that.
You talk more like a man than more most men do.
Right.
That's
But-
just crazy.
But and I have to say it's because of all how we're raised. So if my dad's always been the, Savannah, that's not gonna work. We're not gonna do that. Like you're just not gonna go down that road. I'm not gonna let you. Like you gotta want better for yourself because this is not what we want. And I think all parents are like that. If they're raised back in the day, no parent wants to see their child fail. No one wants to see their child, you know, be completely depleted. But it's like, no, you got to learn your baby steps. Like, if you're going to fall flat on your face. Okay, get up and do it. Because at some time, I think that I learned at 18, mommy and daddy can't save me. Mommy and daddy can't bail me out of everything. So whatever I make my bed and I lay in it, that's exactly how it's going to go. I can't call mom and dad and say, hey, you know, can you bail me out of this? Wait, time out. But mom and dad weren't doing the shit that I was doing. So why would I call somebody to help me get out of something that I put myself in?
Right.
It would just be like me going completely broke and being like, oh, mom, dad, can you help me? And my mom and my dad are like, well, what are you doing to help yourself? Because that's going to be the initial answer. Like, okay, well, what are you doing for yourself right now? What are you doing to...
I believe every woman has a responsibility to prepare for the real life
Yeah.
as a young girl, young adult. But I'm going to tell you what I teach my daughter. And I'm going to address this 50-50 stuff that we've been talking
Yeah.
about, how this new society has taught it. I don't play that. I'm not teaching my daughter that she has to prepare to go 50-50 with a man.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to say, hey, and I'm not going to say her name, but daughter, you better get ready because you're going to have to go 50-50 with a man one day. So you got to bring your half to the table. I'm never going to talk to my daughter and tell her that. So that society shit as taught, is teaching is wrong.
Yeah.
And everybody is fucking agreeing with that. And I'm like, do you have a daughter? Do you want your daughter just to be prepared to take care of a man?
Yeah.
That ain't never how it's been. It's always a man comes in and he take care of his household and make sure that everything is straight. But I also tell my daughter to be prepared to take care of a man and know what that really means. How to value a man, how to appreciate a man, how to take care of a home, and respect a man, and that's what it's all about. You prepare yourself for this because a man will take care of a woman and don't need nothing for her if she has these core values. You know, so 50-50, I'm not preparing my daughter for that
Yeah.
shit.
Well, we can get into that too because like we hear all this stuff about even on other podcasts and everything they're talking about. They try to argue this question about 50-50 because this girl I took her out on 10 dates and I'm paying for everything. I think men need to go 50-50. You know what? That's the man's fault. If he can't figure out
How?
that this girl is not going to give him any play, then he's an idiot. You're a
Slugger.
Baz. You're a Baz, dude, like
a
big
Baz.
time because how are you not figuring that out already by now?
Right.
Like you should be able to discern, have some type of common
You
knowledge.
said it, discern.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you not get that? And you have all these dudes, like, literally running podcasts talking about, oh, no, we should go 50-50. Like, no, dude, just because you're a Baz, a lame, doesn't mean that the other guys, real men, can't figure that out.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you already know this is what, like you're saying, this is what they're saying. They're saying all women want is our money and buy me this and buy me that. Well, I've been with some great women. You know what I mean? And that ain't all what they wanted from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just wasn't, and I'm a giver. So at the end of the day, I'm a man and I understand when somebody is using me
Yeah.
and taking
Right.
advantage of me.
Yeah.
Because you a square and a bass and you can't see it, that's not the woman's fault. She gonna continue to do what she wants to continue to do.
'Cause
as
she's
she do-
getting
'cause
from-
she getting
from
what
you.
She, yeah.
And I'll be honest, that's probably why they started their podcast, because they can't. That's the way they could get it out. But it doesn't really mean anything, though. Like just because they want to set it out to the world, like, oh, go halves. Nah, it's not the way it goes. Be a man. Pay for the food. It's a dinner, dude. If you can't afford a dinner anyway, something's
Stop
already wrong with
taking
you.
her out to eat.
Yeah,
if
don't
you
go out
feel
to
that
eat
way.
then. Go
And-
play video games in your house then.
Right.
Freaking Baz, you know what I'm talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, how you gonna literally even argue that argument? Like, if you can't make discernment of a woman using you. Okay, what do you think about that? Let's go over this. We'll go with you first. What do you think about going 50-50?
Be honest, because
Be
you
honest.
live in this new society.
I think because of how I was raised, I'm so old school. Like, I think of things like, oh, my dad's always paid this, but now when I'm looking at it, it's like 50-50, and I'm like, oh, okay, like,
I can do that.
I can do that,
But should you?
but should I? No,
A- a re-
because,
for a real man to take you
No.
on a date, and he goes, "Hey, we're gonna go 50-50 with you."
no. Because if you really want me to be about my morals and about how I was raised, okay, well, men provide, they bring you safety, they provide you this home. You make that home a home. You cook, you clean, you come, you go, you take care of the kids, you go to work, you come back home,
You bring peace.
and you bring peace, but nowadays, I guess the 50-50 is really playing a big role. So it's like, you know what? If that's what it comes to, so be it. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. At this point, it's one of those things where you got to go with the flow of it. Because what am I going to do? I'm not going to sit there and tell somebody, oh, well, are you going to take care of me? Like, that's not going to be my first initial, question. If I sense that you can't provide in that sense or form, I'm not going to ask you for that, because I take it from a man who's done above and beyond, who's gone to battle with his own self and been there for his friends and his family and his kids. I've seen it. So there's no excuse for it, but I can't put that old generation on this generation because it's built different.
I definitely can. I'm gonna put it on them. Like, I don't care what all these other people are trying to train people to do things.
Yeah.
I have a son and I have a daughter.
Yeah.
I'm raising my son to be a man.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. So I'm gonna put it on all of them. Like, do we give anybody breaks?
No.
If anybody's around us, I don't care how old they are as a dude. We don't give nobody breaks. I don't care.
Yeah.
We'll tell them exactly how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My
What-
son will tell you right now, if you called him right now on his phone and you asked him why he don't got a girlfriend, he said, because I ain't financially ready for it.
That's what he told
That's
them.
smart.
Yeah.
That's what my son told
But
me.
it's smart,
Mr.
though.
Stick Your Girl.
My son is a boss. You know what I mean? And and I'm not pumping him up. You know what I mean? He take care of his shit. You know what I mean? He got a job. He got his own car. You know what I mean? He a boss. I really respect him for the way he think when it comes to this life. Understanding that a woman is a jewel or a diamond, and she's supposed to be taken care of. You know, especially the right one. Not, you know what I mean? I'm not saying
Yeah,
all women,
no,
because some
no.
women are, out here to use you.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know what I mean? But at the end of the day,
We end up.
I believe that he will get the right one, and he can be able to discern the right one because of, his
His
wisdom.
morals
how he
and
was
how you
raised
raised
and how
him.
he was
Yeah. raised.
Exactly.
So what do you think about the 50-50?
I don't agree with it. I
Have
mean,
have anybody ever tried to do that to you?
no.
No.
No. I mean, and I was raised the same way. I was raised with a single mom. So I grew up just knowing how to just stay on my grind and hustle and do, take care of what I got to take care of. My dad was in another state, military, but always helped out when he could, and so it's just like, if we're in a relationship, I feel like we're coming together and we're not just meeting in the middle. We're kind of working together
Yeah.
in the relationship, whatever situation it is in that moment. So it's like you're either all in or you're not. And yeah, that's just my view on it.
Well, I'm even just talking on pure just dating. Let's just say you go on one date with the guy and he tries to go 50-50 with you. He's like, hey, let's do the 50-50. What do you guys think about that though? It's just a regular date. You never met him before, nothing.
And he wants to go 50-50.
Yeah.
I'm friend zoning you.
I'm gonna just pay for it all because I don't want to hear that 50-50.
That's
I'm gonna
it.
just slide the card and be like, here, can you pay it all? I don't want to do the 50-50.
You-
Just here, go.
I get it.
Slide it.
I get it. And as y'all should, ghost him. But at the
Yeah.
end, this and let me help some of our viewers out because they probably wondering like, oh, these niggas is suckers. They just continue to buy women food and drinks and shit like that.
No, you're suckers.
Yeah. At the end of the day, let me help y'all out. So this is how it should be. If I take a woman out on a date, first, second, and third date, right? Something has to be reciprocated. I'm not going 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dates and just continue to play. At the end of the day, and I'm not talking about sex, so get y'all mind out of the gutter. So at the end of the day, she should be able to either invite me over with respect and cook me a meal, or ask me to go to a park or something and make me a sandwich, goddammit, a picnic or something.
Yeah.
She's supposed to show
Change
me
it up.
something, change it
Yeah.
up, take me.
Take lunch for him
Take
to
you
work,
out.
something. You know, I mean, just take him.
It ain't even
give
have
him
to
lunch
take
to
me
work.
out.
Yeah,
You
not
could
take
me,
him
you
out.
could take me to a park and hey, I cooked you this spaghetti dinner or something, and it's
Warm.
you could
Yeah.
just-
it's warm.
Yeah.
Let me show you a little something of appreciation for going in your
Yeah.
pocket, spending $600-700 in 2 days, or
Yeah.
whatever, or $200 or $300 or $50, whatever y'all McDonald's dudes do. But at the end of the day, this is just real.
I think the misconception is that a lot of people, men and women, I think that the reciprocation needs to be sexual.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
that's when, if you don't communicate with your partner and that, who you're dating, then you're never going to know, and you're going to think that that's what's expected. And then sometimes that's where it kind of falls apart, the relationship or the dating. You kind of revert back to, oh, okay, I'm going to step back, or
I mean, most men want sex.
Or-
know
or
what I
you
mean?
might.
The
I mean,
first day, most men want sex the first day, the second day, the third day, or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
They're ready to smash
Right.
because they're attracted to women, or they're
Of
attracted
course.
to the physical. But in the beginning, we have to realize what true intimacy is. You didn't meet on a sexual base. You met on an intimacy base.
That is
You got to
true.
see if I like her first. I like the way she smell. I like the way she talk. I like the way she, intimacy is always first. That's how you attract each other. It ain't like, oh, we having sex on the first when I get your number. It's the intimacy. Why, I'm attracted to her. I go up to her and I ask her for her number. I ask her for her name. You know what I mean? And we get to conversating. So that's when the first intimacy come. So most men forget how they got that woman. It wasn't by a physical sex. It was by intimacy, how you got her. So that's the only way you're going to really keep her.
Well, even then, so like, if you don't have that skill set where you can't bag him first, second, third date, I mean, that's your problem.
Right.
It ain't her problem. It's your
Right,
problem.
right.
I mean, that's reality, man. Like all these dudes that have that conversation about that. That's really your problem. If you don't have that skill set, then honestly, dude, you better step it up. 'Cause you
think-
better learn something else because it ain't working for
I
you.
think too, whenever you are dating, and you're going on these dates multiple, let's say by the fourth date, you guys should have established a communication with each other as far as what your intentions are, what your goals are. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have those types of discussions. If you don't, then it's just going to be either, like I said, it's going to be not reciprocated what you're wanting from the dates and
And the text messages and the phone calls.
well, no, there's
all
oth-
play a part too.
Well, even then, like,
You gotta get
there's
that
other
straight.
things that they can do. Like, let's just say you're like, you do have that skill set and you're not getting them first, second, third date, whatever, right? The thing is, you'll still know if they're into you because they'll do little things. I mean, Texas, that ain't nothing. But let's say they come and bring you lunch to your work, Are they coming? They do something nice for you? Are they?
Efforts.
You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
efforts. Hey, I just bought movie tickets for us. We're gonna go to the movies. Like, dang, I wasn't even thinking about that. That's cool.
Right.
Something like where they're showing I want to be around you. Besides going on dates
That's
with you,
good.
but they have that's skill set. Like if they can't do that, you'll know if a girl's into you or not. If she's just saying, "Hey, you can take me out to eat," hey, take me out, then you know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Let's go out for a drink. Now you know what kind of girl. you
Yeah,
are.
it's like the thing is you should know. Like it's not like you should be just a damn fool and going on 9 dates and still not getting nothing from it. And the only time you see her is when you're feeding her lobster. You know what I'm saying? Like that's your own fault. You know what I mean? So all these guys that complain. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch other like podcasts and things like this, but this is a huge topic. It's all over podcast. And we've been kind of wanting to touch base on this because like these dudes are just fools. If they keep going around that way and they keep saying, yeah, do 50-50, no, that's you. You need to do 50-50 because you don't have that skill set. That's not their problem. That's your problem. I feel like everything always ends up going back to the man regardless because I feel like it's always going to, at the end of the day, it's always going to be the man's fault. If they can't, I mean, when a household breaks up, he didn't establish what he needed to establish in that household, period. Even if the girl was going out, you shouldn't have been with that woman in the first place then. Like, the man makes a decision who he's going to marry, what he's going to do. When he takes out women out to dinner, he still should size everything up. If he ain't sizing everything up, then he ain't a real man. That's just the way it is. You know, so we'll go to the next one.
Okay, let's talk about what do you ladies learn from your last relationship? Let's start
Yeah,
here.
okay, let's
Oh
start here.
my
We start with
gosh.
you. It's a good one.
Ooh. You might need to come back to me on this one.
Okay, let's go with you because I feel like you already got a lot to say
I
on
know.
that.
What did you learn from
I
your last
think
relationship?
that getting out of it, I learned that my boundaries are one. I learned about how to communicate correctly now. Like,
Okay, let's go to boundaries. What are your boundaries right now then?
my boundaries right now are just simply, I guess, loving myself and respecting myself because I didn't have that. And those are big boundaries to me because if I've never had respect for myself and I let people just do whatever you want to do, you could have talked to me reckless. You could have,
Damn.
you literally could have done anything and I said, oh, I still love you. Like, I don't,
Damn.
like, I don't know. I just never been that person to always give up. Now it's just like, I can't keep damaging myself to the point where there's nothing left of me. Because then I feel like I'm going to turn into this angry, bitter person. And I don't want that for myself.
So your boundaries do not let a man talk to you however they
No,
want
it's
to.
just respect. Like, if I'm giving you respect, I respect it back. You know, if I'm loyal to you, I expect the same thing back. If I'm peaceful with you, I expect the same thing back. If I'm not triggering you, I expect you not to trigger me back. Because if I see that you're working so hard to be a man that you don't want to get taken out of character, you don't want to do this, and I do that, I feel like that's fucked up for me to do because you've worked so hard to not get to that place. And I feel like if you love me, you wouldn't want to see me be this angry, ugly person. You'd want me to be this most respectful, graceful woman that, you know, sometimes, you know, wants to resort back to the past, but is like, no, it's okay.
Let me ask you a question
Mm-hmm.
before you go
Go ahead.
any further.
Go ahead.
When you said respect the man, how do you feel? What do you feel a man's? How do you respect the man? What do you think, and how do you respect the man?
I think now how I respect a man is like, okay, what you tell me, if you have boundaries, I'm going to respect them. If you don't want this done, okay, fine. It won't be done, but I don't expect it to be done back to me.
Reciprocate it.
So it's all about transparency. Let's just be on a level playing field. If you're going to be an ass, I'm not going to be an ass with you. I'm just going to kind of go this way. I'm not going to, I don't want to be on a tit for tat. And that's what I feel like most of us do resort back to is when a man says something, oh, we want a tit for tat. And I don't want to do that. What do I want to do that for? What do I want to go back and forth with anybody for? You know how much energy that does? It depletes you. And then after you're going like, well, fuck, what did I waste my time arguing for? It's still going to be the same thing. You obviously aren't catching the transparency between what I'm trying to say, so that's just it. Like, I feel like going into stuff now, I have to think smarter, not with my emotions, because my emotions will override my logic. And I feel like when I react off my emotions, I'm like, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to go there with you. I'm ready to take it under the belt. I'm ready to just And I don't want that because I'm a real loving person.
Yeah, women are emotional beings, though. So
Yeah,
it's always,
and
you're always gonna end up going back to that. I feel like, but
Yeah.
you could try not to.
No, and I feel
Right.
like, but I feel like with therapy, you do that. You master it every day on how to work because you do trigger yourself some days. You're like, oh, I want to go back to that, and you're just like, wait, time out. We're doing
so
all
did you
this
start
work.
your therapy after the relationship?
Yeah.
So you won't really know until you get into another relationship. Because
Yeah.
then you'll
That's when
see.
you know how strong you really
That's
Yeah.
when you know how, if everything that you're saying and doing, you're gonna
Yeah.
actually put it into action.
But here's the thing:
You
is
know
that
what I
when
mean?
I constantly trigger myself, or I feel like, because I always want to go back. Trust. There's.
Or you want to go back to your boyfriend?
No,
Your
not go
ex-boyfriend?
back to my ex-boyfriend, but I always want to resort back to my old ways of just
Oh.
being, like, like no, I don't want to be that. I don't. I'm a very when I'm that person, I'm mean. I say disrespectful things. I'm ugly, and I can admit that about myself. I get real ugly when I'm taken there, and I don't want that, because I feel like, no, Savannah, you're such a pretty person on the inside and out, and you want to show everybody love. So why would you take yourself out of character to go and say some spiteful shit or some hurtful things that you know tomorrow you're gonna be like, fuck, I wish I never said that. Regardless of how I felt, like I should have just let you have your moment. If that's how you felt, then I could have just gracefully said, okay, that's fine, with love and grace, and keep it pushing.
It's not easy,
And it's not.
to respect a man, because men can be very, very disrespectful in a lot of ways. Not just cheating, not just flirting, and at the end of the day, the way we talk, the way we our masculinity, and I'm gonna just encourage. I'm not gonna discourage you, but it's going to be a challenge. But you
Yeah.
can handle it.
Yeah.
It's just understanding that,
And picking. Picking.
yes.
Picking the
You-
right
you-
man.
Yeah, men, you don't want no aggressive men. You know what I mean?
You don't know weak
And-
man either.
Right, but you don't want no aggressive man, because at the end of the day, a lot of women want, tough, aggressive, and we all have that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you would know in the beginning who you dealing with when that time come.
Yeah.
And if he's over aggressive, you already know what time it is.
Yeah, I've had my fair share with that, so that's why I understand. It's like, yeah, no, I think that it's not gonna happen overnight, and like my therapist says, it's a work. Like you gotta be at it every single day. That means that
Because when we feel disrespected, sometimes
yeah.
Oh, we go for the
we go for
blood.
the
Yeah,
jugular.
for the
yeah,
kill.
But
we feel like our
Well, man, especially because a man. Okay, like this is great that you even brought that up. So that's the thing. When a man, that's the worst thing you do to a man. When he feels disrespected, even embarrassed. I mean, when women do something to embarrass him or really disrespect him, for most men it's usually a wrap. They're not gonna forget it, and they're gonna keep like going towards that. Like if something's, especially if it's like in the form of cheating, or in any type of form that has to do with that, like it's over for you. You might as well just give it up, because usually a man's just not gonna not let that go. He's gonna take it to a whole nother level, just the way it is.
Yeah.
So the whole disrespecting thing is a big deal when it comes to a man. Now, what about you? What'd you learn?
I think for me is communication for sure. I normally would hold things in and then blow up. I was one of those. So the last relationship, I learned to try to communicate better and, like she said, be transparent in that communication. I think being patient as well, because sometimes like I just wanted answers right away and I wasn't getting them.
That's fire.
So I think for me it's just a combination of those two. And then learning to respect myself more and understand, okay, what you do and don't deserve in a relationship. So you don't deserve to be ignored or ghosted and not get any answers when you're asking them or trying to communicate with that person. So it's like, okay, well then if you're not going to at least communicate with me, then I don't know what else to do from here moving forward. Like I'm trying to communicate with you. I'm trying to understand what you're expecting and what you want. And if it's not being reciprocated, then I can't really do my job in the relationship either.
Can I say something about you, man? And I'm not trying to bash what you said, because with that patience part is everything. That's why I said it was fire. But being patient while being ghosted, that's you know, it's a lot going on in that ghost.
It's
time.
hard.
You know what I mean? It's a lot going on in that ghost time with that man. So you can't. Most women, I don't agree with being patient in that ghost time. If I ghost you, I'm ghosting you because I'm doing my shit. That's
Yeah.
what I'm ghosting you.
He's up to no good,
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm not ghosting you because I need time to think about if this is
No.
the right relationship for me. That's a woman's thing. You know what I mean? Like, I need to take time so I can see if you're right for me. But the patient part was fire because at the end of the day, men don't have all the right answers and, you know, right when you want them. You know, sometimes men have to gather themselves and make sure that they think before they speak. And every answer, every question doesn't need an answer right away, especially with men. You know, women want it now. Tell me what you tell me. Do you love me now? Or I'm just using that for
Yeah.
example. And men don't work that way. Men don't want answers right now, or don't want to
And
answer.
under pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that's the other thing I learned is that other people's mechanisms or how they deal, you gotta respect it. That's
Yeah.
another boundary is just because you might handle something a certain way, the next might not.
Oh yeah, no.
Right.
So I think that's right. Like what you're saying is like, yes, men do have to process things, and I think that's where I was at. Like, I always wanted a question now. But I thought about it and I sat back. I'm like, wait, time out. I know that I could be a lot. Because when I'm coming at you, well, I'm coming at you with 110 fucking something else. And I'm just like, what is it? I'm drilling you. And it's like, wait, time out. Okay. The same way
One
that
thing
you
at
just
a
got,
time.
the same way that you just got triggered, that motherfucker, you know, just got triggered. Because he's like, wait, time out. Okay. One thing at a time. And it's like, you're not even listening one thing at a time. You're just ripping off the freaking thing. Like, you're trying to get answers. And I feel like now it's like, time out.
Women
You
put
got-
their heart and
Yes,
their
they do.
emotions all in, you know, and
Yeah.
they're looking at these men like, you don't feel like me, you know what I mean? But we just express a little bit
Different.
differently.
Yeah.
You know, we sometimes we wear our heart on our sleeves because, you know, once we get our heart broken or once
It's
that
over.
trust lays,
Oh, it's a wrap.
it's not like y'all. Y'all can rebuild. Us
Yeah.
like, man, that bitch, I ain't never gonna be with a
For
bitch
real.
again ever in my life. And y'all like, dang, where's the next one? He not gonna work out. I'm gonna get myself together and I'm gonna find the next one that will.
Yeah.
I'ma
be able
snap
to-
back.
I'ma
Yeah.
snap back. And men ain't snapping back. We like,
No.
fuck that bitch. I'ma fuck as many bitches as I can. Yada yada
You become
yada.
calloused.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Like you can't. They'll never be that person they were then. It'll never happen again. They have to stay like that. You know what I mean? But they end up building themselves up. I mean, you
Yeah.
build a whole empire off of that. That's what men do.
Right.
I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah. So like, but the thing is, though, I feel like women go off of a lot of their emotions. So even though they can't snap back, I think I'm for real about this. I think men, when they actually love a woman, like in love or love a woman, I feel like they love way deeper than a woman does.
100.
I really believe that because I feel like a
100.
woman loves off of like what they're providing, what a man's providing for them, what basically what a man can do for them. I really the reason is because when a man like falls head over heels deeply in love, it's over. Like that's that person right there, and if they do something to like betray that trust or to like get them at some point, like betray them or disrespect them in a really like bad way, it's like a big deal to that man. Where
Because
that-
he's made up his mind already about
he
that
made
person.
up his mind, and now it's like, wait a minute,
Women can snap back like you said.
but,
Yeah.
but men
Men
don't.
can't.
Men
you know what
don't.
I mean? They're damaged if they get their heart broken. And almost forever.
Yeah.
You know?
And I wouldn't even say it's damage. I feel like they become a different person.
I would agree
feel
with
like they grow into somebody else, and then that's who they are now. It's like they died to that last person, and they reborn somewhere else. Because at the same time, a lot of those men become better,
Yeah.
and everything they do, they just keep getting better
Yeah.
and better. And if there happens something like that happens again,
that's rare. That's a few.
It
That's
really is.
well,
It's
that
very
is
rare.
rare.
And that's rare that a man would get damaged by a woman and not be like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to fuck a whole bunch of whores.
Yeah.
That's what it really is. You know, most men ain't just going to start a business. Most men in general are not just going to go out and start a business and just grow an empire. You have some, but most men are going to be butthurt in the bars.
In their feelings.
In their
Yes.
feelings. In the clubs. I ain't trying to have no girlfriend for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years because they're damaged. And when I mean by damaged, they're mentally damaged. They don't want to love again.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to get their heart broken again.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
damaged mentally because it's like
Well, I believe this too, though. I believe that. I mean, how many times in real life are you gonna fall in love? You're not gonna fall in love like, oh, I'm in love today, I'm in love again. Like, it's not gonna happen. I feel like most men are only gonna fall in love once.
Fuck no.
Hell, in love,
Fuck no.
I 100% believe
No.
that.
No.
I believe women.
No.
I believe women can fall in love a lot.
No.
Uh-uh,
the fuck
I don't think
no.
so.
So you're gonna tell me that there's
There-
a million soulmates out there for
Let me.
you?
It ain't.
Hell no.
We didn't say
No, you
so
didn't say
much.
soulmates.
We
No,
talking
you
about
said
love.
love.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, we talking about
You
love.
said
When you
love.
fall
I
in
You
said
love,
I said
hour.
in love.
in love.
That's soulmate.
Let me
shit.
tell you how. No.
Hell yeah.
No.
Soulmate
You said
is not
in-
just
no,
in
soulmate is
love.
different.
You only have
In
one.
love.
You don't know. You don't. Your soulmate is somebody who you marry. When you
Yeah.
get married, you feel like this is your soulmate. When you start off in 12 years old, 13-year-old. No, you don't know what love is completely, but you have this deep love to where you start feeling like, I really love this girl. Then you get 17 and 18 and 19, and this is your sweetheart, your high school sweetheart, and you're like, I'm in love with this woman. I'm in love
That's
with this
baby
girl.
love. That's puppy love.
It's still love. You can't dictate
That's
what.
different love,
It's
though.
still
Puppy
love.
love.
You're
But
still
there's
in love.
some relationships that have been like high school sweethearts, and they're
there's-
married
and
for
they're married,
decades.
and that's their soulmate.
Yeah.
And then you can find then you can break up with this high school girl that you was really in love with. So since you was in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, y'all went to college. Y'all separated from college, and you was really loving and thought this girl was your soulmate. And then you get to college and find somebody else that you have fell in love with and marry her.
I don't believe all that though. I believe
Because
that
it ain't happened to you or you never
No,
seen it.
no,
But this
no.
is real reality.
I don't believe it is reality. I believe that you probably have one person out there for you, and that's it. You can mess it up, or that person can mess it up, or whatever. But you're not going to be falling in love
I
all
was
over
in
the damn
love. I
world.
was
You
in love with more than one person. Was you in love with more than one person?
I feel like you can
Was you
love
in love with more than one person?
Well, you can't ask girls that. They're in love with almost everybody they get with.
But
Like,
that's
No,
hey,
no,
but
no.
still, but that's still the same.
That's
It's
still the
not.
same.
They're
Not
still
for a
humans.
woman.
That's still
They're
human.
still
if there was like
humans.
5 men in here, they'd answer different.
No, not true.
No.
Not
For
true.
sure.
Not
I don't think so, no.
transparency.
For
no,
sure.
no,
No.
We could ask even all our friends that we know; they'll tell you the
No.
opposite.
Hey, no.
Dude, for
If you
dude,
have a-
for
if-
sure.
Well, okay.
Listen,
So
listen.
I've been in love once in high school, right? I dated my high school sweetheart for like 5 or 6 years. I was in love with him, but it didn't work. Like you
You don't have to be with
Yeah.
them forever to say
Yeah.
that you're in love with
With
them.
them,
You,
yeah.
They don't have to be your soulmate, or you don't have to marry them
Yeah.
to be in love with them. You know what I mean? It
I
happens.
think I was in love with what happened during those 5 or 6 years. I was like, I was in love with this person and all the things that we did together. But
Do we
it's-
even know what being in love means? Like, for real.
Yep.
Being in love is not I'm going to marry you, because you don't know if you're going to marry that
This person or not.
Even if you're 10 years in the hole with this person,
Yep.
that don't mean that I'm going to marry this person or be in love with this person because this person
If
is
you
my
could just
soulmate.
be in
Years,
love
though?
with, if you
No.
could just be in love with all kinds of
It's
people,
it's
it ain't
old
real
school-
fucking
old school
love.
people-
I don't care
old
what
school
anybody says.
people-
No, I
How you
don't.
just can be in love with all kinds of different people?
Not
can't.
It could
It's
be in
not
lust.
being in love with
You could be
all-
in lust. You know what I mean?
It's
But I'm
one
talking
at
about
a
in love.
time. It's
Yeah.
not I'm gonna be in love with
Yeah,
all these
no.
people.
Yeah, no.
It's called
No.
one at a time. I found this person that I thought I was gonna marry. I thought this was my soulmate. Something happened.
Yep.
And it did
Didn't
not
work.
work. And then you
But
can't
you still
say
have
Because I've
love
only
for
been in
that
love
person.
once.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
mean
can say
you're
I've only
in
been in love
love,
once.
but you still have love for that person.
No, I feel like if you're in love with somebody, you're probably gonna be in love with them forever. As soon as you meet, even no matter what happens in your life, you're always gonna
Not
be together.
true.
with that
Okay,
person.
can I say?
I
can
think it's
no.
100% true.
I
No.
don't think so because my ex is still in love with me, but I don't love
If,
him.
if you love the person and was in love with this person
Yeah.
and you beat the fuck out of this person, that don't mean and that
No.
and that you're not going to be in love with this person forever.
Nope.
That's just not how it happens. If a woman gets beat, if a woman is she was first in love with this man, and this man was in 7 years did not touch her, didn't beat her, nothing. She was in love with him. He was in love with her.
What's a woman? I mean,
Even
it's
he was
so
in love with
different.
her, and then he fucked
Oh, he
her up
beat
or
her?
whatever. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's different,
That's
though.
not saying that they wasn't in love. Something happened that came to destroy that love, and then they separated, and then they're no longer. This woman is not
Yeah, but
going to no longer.
But I'm not
love him.
talking about like the situations like that. Like that's a whole nother type of situation.
But she can still love him, just not be in love with him. Because they're not in the relationship anymore. Obviously, if she, let's say, separated from him because she realized she didn't deserve that, that doesn't mean she doesn't stop loving that person. She has history with that
Talking
person.
about the one that was getting beat by a dude.
yeah, she can still love the guy.
But she-
A lot of women
that girl,
do.
That girl got her spirit broken like those dogs that get beat by their
But-
owners, and that's all that is.
She
See,
can still
that ain't no
be in
damn
love with-
love.
she-
That's
But that
foolishness.
doesn't mean
No.
that she's
Nah, heck
in
no.
love with him. She's not
At
in
the
love with him
end,
no more because
but
she.
in the beginning, like she's saying, go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
No. It's just she's not in love with him no more. She's made that decision to separate and move on, but that she still has that tie to him. So of course she's still gonna care about him and love him in a different way.
As soon as a dude starts beating his chick, like I don't care, like maybe they had love for him, but all that crap was fake. If a dude's gonna be beating his girlfriend, all that had to be fake. She got beat, like they got the spirit beaten out of her. That's all it is. Have you ever heard of like a dog getting their spirit broken?
Yeah.
Like that, and it keeps around their owner.
It's hard though for the women
You
because
cannot say a
Yeah,
person
no.
got married to this person and 10 years later it wasn't love because they got into a physical altercation.
Right.
No, you say keep. No, a keep beating a woman,
No,
your woman
no,
that
no.
you love, like
No,
that doesn't make no damn
no.
sense.
Not keep for sure. Anybody, once you start putting your hands on a woman or a woman start putting
Yeah, I don't
her
give a
hands
shit
on
what
a
anybody
man,
says. There's no love
there's
there.
the love is
Gone.
the in love is lost.
exactly.
And
It
I
is,
wouldn't
yeah.
say that the love is lost because like you said in the beginning, you can leave a person after 10 years and still love them, no matter
Yeah.
what
You just
happened.
love them in a different
Well,
way.
I
That
didn't said that. Yeah,
You just not in love with them
Yeah.
no more. So the love never dies. You're just not in love with them. I don't feel like I'm gonna spend the rest of more of my future with this person any longer. But I still have love for that person because this person gave me 2 or 3 kids.
Well, I'm not saying none of that. That's not
But
what
it
I'm
goes
talking
back
about.
to how you said you can't love multiple people. You think
No, you can love multiple. I'm saying I don't believe you could be in love with all like 3-4 different people.
Not at one
No,
time.
not at one time.
No, I'm saying
No.
period. Like, how you gonna be in love with all these different people? I'm talking about soulmate type shit.
Oh, yeah,
That's
no.
what I'm talking about. Like in love's a little different. You know what I'm saying? But like,
People get married more than one time.
well, yeah, but,
You know
but I
what
mean, a lot of times people just do it for
Yeah, they do.
companionship or that ass is good. But
That's true.
And some people do
it's-
it because they in love.
or they
Yeah.
just like being in a marriage or
Yes.
they can't be alone.
That
yeah, I feel like more people are doing it for that reason. You know what
I
I mean?
agree. I mean, I would agree
Yeah.
why more people are doing it for a certain reason, but we still cannot say they're not doing it because they're in love.
Yeah.
We don't know
If we
that.
go off of like the majority of people, that's probably what they're doing it for. If we go off of like general, most people are not finding the love of their life again, and the love of their life again. It's not happening. There's no way that just keeps
I
going.
mean,
on
I've
and
been
on.
married before, so
Same.
I've been married before, and I cannot say that if I found her, it just didn't work. Okay, we both was immature at that moment and at that time. If I find somebody else, a diamond or something like that, and I fall in love with that person and want to be with the person for the rest of my life, I think that that's possible.
Well, just
Yeah.
because you got married doesn't mean you were in love, though.
But how are you gonna tell me that I wasn't?
No,
in
I didn't say
love?
you were.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say that.
I mean,
said,
some people get, like we said in the beginning, some people were, I'm talking about me in general. But I'm talking about, like, I do agree some people get married for the wrong reasons.
do.
And a lot of people get, like you said, get married for the wrong reason. But we cannot say it doesn't, you cannot be in love after you have been in love 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, then let me just break it down. I don't think you can find your soulmate more than once. If you
I
do,
mean, I
it'll
don't
be
believe in
damn
soulmate,
rare
so,
as
I mean,
hell.
if you...
Okay, well, I believe. Let's just say I believe in that. Then.
Yeah, I don't...
Right? I believe that you ain't gonna find more than once a soulmate.
I don't
as well.
see
You
me
know what I mean?
personally. I don't believe in soulmates, and the reason I believe because soulmate is something that we have created as a people and said that. You know what I mean? Oh, this is my soulmate. You know what I mean? No, this is my wife, and I won't be with her forever because one day I will be dead and gone, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's 10 years, whether it's 15 years.
Yeah.
I believe this is my wife, this is who I love, until God called me home, God call her home. Her soul ain't going with mine, and my soul ain't going with hers. When I leave this earth after 10, 15 years, she might find someone else to let her get tickle her. You know what I mean? So if I was her soulmate, you know what I mean? She like, I'm not marrying nobody else on this earth. It's just him. He's going to be with the Lord. No one else.
Hey, a lot of older ladies did that though.
It's some,
They
it's some
have.
widows.
Both
it's
of my
some-
grandmas did that.
It's some widows. It's
Yeah.
some widows, but nowadays it's rare to none.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
it
now.
is.
Yeah.
It is
You know what I mean? So
When everybody gets
that's
divorced,
why-
nobody looks at that as like a common thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like they just like, I mean, if you
quick
look at
to
everything, Yeah, they're quick to quit, and then they just even when they're in it, they're just. I mean, we know that all these married women are just being with everybody. You can go to the bar right now, and there's married women trying to hook up with dudes at the bar. It's a
Yeah.
normal thing. Like you see it all
That's
the time.
normal?
I'm telling you, I see it all the time, all the time. Women with big rocks on that their husbands have mad money, and they're still walking out to the parking lot with another dude.
You ain't lying.
No, I'm not lying at all because I've seen it happen. Like
Men too.
firsthand.
Married
Big
men,
rocks,
married men.
too.
don't-
Big
Not-
rock.
Well, married. I've seen married men too, but that I
Yeah.
get. Well, you
But
know.
married women, they're doing it like I mean, you see more married women at the bar by themselves or with a group of friends,
Yeah.
and they're just want to have some fun that night. It's normal. I mean, we can
I see
go on
big-
forever about that.
He ain't
We
lying
see it.
because I don't even got to go to the bar to be honest, or the club or anywhere. I go to the gym often, and I see big rocks following
Oh,
me
yeah, the
around.
gym, too.
I see big rocks looking at me, and I ain't even the coldest item in the bunch, but they still on. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, dang, this married woman on me. You know, and you could tell. You know what I mean? They like,
They're
I ain't
slick.
Got,
They're
I ain't got
slick,
this
though.
at home. You know what I mean? And no, you don't.
We see no, that's for real. We see it all the time. That's why it's like, I was like, how are you gonna trust anybody? You see it happen all the time, like on a daily basis. You're
Yeah.
like, it is what it is.
It is
after
hard
that.
to trust people these days.
Oh, for sure.
It is. Mm.
You're like, hey, especially like
I,
right
I
when
only
you
trust
see,
you as far as I could throw you. And
That
that ain't
part.
fucking fart. I
mean-
don't want to trust you then.
I mean, right when you see a girl, even, I mean, we're just gonna say it. Right when you see a girl posting their ass on Instagram, things like that, especially if they're married, you already know that's a red flag. I really, most of those women, I've seen it with my own eyes, so I experienced it, so I know those girls usually have a side dude. It is what it is. They have a side dude most of the time, or they're not gonna be showing their ass, and they want maybe another one. And maybe they want another one. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
It's not like something I don't see. You know what I mean? It's a
I never
constant
knew. Getting out of my marriage, I was presented by the coworker, and she kind of told me that about swingers parties and things like that. And I was like, "What the heck?"
That's a normal
I was
thing.
so thrown off. I never knew
Never
that
been to
it
one of
still
those, but I wanna
existed.
see.
Like,
We're approached by. I was approached by swingers so many times.
I'm like, what?
I just want to go to a swinger party. I really do. I
Just to see
mean,
what it is?
yeah.
You
I'll
might
sit in the
not
corner.
leave safe.
I'm gonna sit my ass in the corner in the chair. You finna see Savannah like this? Like, what is this?
You know what's
Yeah,
cold,
I
and
know.
we're going to be wrapping this up soon. You know what's the cold thing about this society that we live in? And I'm going to look at the camera and say this. It's fucked up that men can't trust women and women can't trust men. We're in that type of society, man, to where, you know, everybody trying to find love, everybody trying to find happiness, but we can't trust each other.
That is true. You can't.
It all goes back to like what you're expecting in a relationship. There's a lot of people out there that are in polygamy relationships, polygamous,
Yeah.
you know. So it's being normalized now. Like it's
Yeah.
okay, you know, and it's like the guy has the main one, but he has these other ones, and it's
It's
like
great for the guy.
yeah, of
but
course.
For the women, they're all being damaged by it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and I think that those
that is a big
boundaries
one.
need to be set. If he voices that and you're okay with it, that's on you.
Yeah.
You know, but if it's not for everyone. you
What's
know?
wrong, period. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And
It is,
but
but-
that's the thing is that most men won't see that as wrong.
No.
and
And
they
that's what I
but-
mean by they're normalizing it
Yeah.
now, because now look, a lot of people are doing it, you know, and they think it's okay, and it's like, no.
And you got some idiots on these podcasts talking about it's okay to have a high value man has multiple women.
Oh
Huh?
yes.
You know.
You know what I mean? And when you hear that, you like, damn, I got a son at home. I
Yeah.
hope my son don't ever hear that shit.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because I don't think that a high value man should have multiple women. And I know this is not no sucker shit and no sucker talking. This is like, damn, you teaching these kids even, you know, already it's better. It feels better to have sex without a condom. And I'm gonna say this on live. So now you're teaching these kids that hey, they can go around, have all these women and not use protection because that's not what they want to do. They want the real feeling. You know, so now you're telling them, oh, you a high value man, you a high value boy, and you go out, you get all the girls, and all the girls is on you. So now we spreading all these diseases, and these kids are thinking that shit is cool. So y'all raising sucker kids, and now they out there spreading these diseases to these young girls, and the girls are spreading it to the boys because they allowing this shit to happen.
That's a sad
Yeah.
part.
All right, we're gonna close, but we want a closing statement. So I want to ask you first, like, what do you think about the show, today's show, and you know, well, you were on the previous one, so what do you think that what we're doing? Just a little closing statement on that.
I mean, I feel like it's needed. A lot of people need to hear different opinions and different point of views as far as dating and relationships go, because everyone thinks differently. So I feel like you said, if this is such a big topic, like, I like that we are here and you can bring us here to have a voice and speak on it and give our opinion. Because, I mean, we all need it.
Yeah.
Like you said, we can't trust everyone, you know, and right now the dating scene is kind of shit. So just to get like other people's opinion and points of views, like, I think mainly you have to be open-minded, you have to communicate and with your partner in order to have a healthy relationship. So,
Yeah.
but
That's good.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what about you? What's your closing statement?
I
What do you
think
think
that
of the
with this podcast that you guys are doing, even I get messages from my friends, and they're trying to ask questions because men do have a lot of questions for women, and women do have questions for men. And I think that you guys are utilizing this platform to your full potential, and it's the fact that you guys don't necessarily drop the same thing as the other podcasts would drop. So it kind of makes you stand out from the rest, and it's like, oh wow, this is very informational. It's like, wow, you could sit and listen and you'd be like, wow, that's a good way to view it. That's a good way to view it. Wait, time out. Maybe my way of thinking was kind of wrong with that. And it's not to say it's right or wrong, but it makes you kind of think like, man, all right, so what can I do as a woman or a man to kind of fix myself on the back end so that you don't reciprocate these problems again that keep on occurring? Because at the end of the day, it's a cycle. You're just going like this. So at some point, you got to get off that roller coaster, and you got to just, you know, and I think that you guys are doing a great thing with this podcast. You're helping people like me and, you
And
know,
me.
and him. Like, it's not even us. It's
Yeah.
people that are watching. You're helping them. And people are like, no, I got something to say now, because it's like, you know, one person might see it one way and another person does see it another way. But nobody's wrong on how they see it. And I think that this podcast, you have to hold yourself accountable in this podcast. And I think that's what I like. You guys are very transparent, and I think that is going to go far from here. And I can't thank you guys enough for having me
Right.
on here.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming on.
Y'all for coming. House over Baz. I'm Ronnie Adams.
And I'm Jacob Casas, and we're out.
We're out. Shed the sheet.
Shed the sheet. Girls are good.